Now, a scientist at the centre of the controversy over emails stolen from a British climate research unit has been giving evidence today to a parliamentary committee. Phil Jones stepped down temporarily from his position as head of the University of East Anglia's prestigious climatic research unit after a number of emails between him and other prominent climatologists were published online, and it caused a big controversy. We've reported on it several times over the past few months, and our environment analyst Roger Harrobin knows it all back to front and has been monitoring today's exchanges as well.
I wish he did, Hugh. I wish he did.
Well, I think he does. Roger, it's good to have you with us. What light has been shone on this today?
Well, I mean, several things, actually. I mean, firstly, this is the first time that Professor Jones has actually appeared in public. He's not been well. That's very well documented. He's talked about being suicidal. This is the first time he's ever faced questions. And today the questions really were, I mean, some of them pretty much take-no-prisoner questions. So we've seen him cross-examined in a way which I think will actually please quite a lot of people, that he was been asked some very firm questions. We heard from Nigel Lawson, the former Chancellor, who doesn't trust some of the science in the unit, particularly the way it compares modern temperatures with historic temperatures. And then we've heard from him and his colleague, Dr. Benny Peiser, both of whom are extremely unhappy by the constant stream in the climate email affair of showing Professor Jones refusing to share raw data with other people, other researchers in the field who wanted to critique it. And he was given really quite a hard time about that. I think we can hear a clip from Graham Stringer MP right now.
I've obviously written some very awful emails, and I fully admit that.
That's very clear.
Yes, it is.
It's absolutely clear denial of this man's attempt to get at what you were doing.
Yes, and I had been in discussion with him for a number of months before that, trying to answer his questions.
But he wanted the data, he wanted the codes, he wanted all the other information, and you refused to give it to him. Why?
Because we had a lot of work and resources invested in it. That was way before the FOI request started.
Just a taste of the, well, pretty hard exchanges, really.
Oh, yes, indeed. I mean,
today.
that's quite technical, that stuff, but it goes to the heart of it, really. The critics are saying to Professor Jones, we asked for your computer codes as how you analysed your raw data. We asked for your raw data, and you wouldn't give us either. So if you won't give us your methodology, or your computer codes and your raw data, how can we believe what you say? Professor Jones said very firmly, this just hasn't been the normal way of doing things in the past, and quite significantly, I think he said, maybe it should be the way we do things in the future, but it hasn't been the way we do things in the past.
Which brings me really to the broader question, really, Roger, which is when we look at the reputation, if you like, of climate science after this row, where does it stand now?
Well, I think science, I mean, this is a point that Mr. Lawson was saying and Dr. Peiser, that actually this affair has actually damaged credibility in science as a whole. Now, when it broke, actually, I was phoned by a number of scientists who said, look, don't be shocked by this. You should see all of our emails. This is the way things go on normally. You know, rivals do hide stuff from each other. So they're saying it's normal, but to the general public, seeing this sort of thing on an issue which is so pertinent to so much public policy and on which so much money hangs, I think looks very unsavoury and has no doubt brought climate science into disrepute in many people's minds. But quite interestingly, he's still being examined now, but Professor Beddington, the government chief scientist, was asked about, did this really challenge the fundamentals of climate science? And he said, in his view, it did not. That he thought the science itself was robust, that the climate was definitely warming and humans were still involved. But it's going to take quite a long time, if it ever happens, for mainstream science to re-establish that view after all this affair has gone by.
Roger, good to talk to you again. Thank you very much. Roger Harrobin there, our environment analyst.